Hey everybody, welcome to the weekend vid. Before we get started, I just want to let you guys know that we're going to be revamping the stats scanner site in the near future. We're in talks right now, and then we're going to get to work on it, hopefully starting this week. And then it's kind of a 6 to 8 week ETA as far as getting everything done that we're looking for. That being said, if you have any specific requests or anything you'd be interested to see on a fully fledged strat scanning site, let us know in the comments below, and do not, limit yourself as to the possibilities. We should be able to do pretty much anything you want, even when it comes to alerts, watch lists, automated anything, that type of thing. So that being said, just let me know in the comments below if you have any specific requests, and I'll respond, if I have the time to do so, but we will take that into account. That being said, though, let's take a look starting with the sectors. So we're going to see last week, Qs, they opened 2-week inside pattern up with the momentum hammer, and we picked that up early in the week, and you can see they're just off to the races, SPY as well. So they're starting off green on the month. In the industrial sector, Dow Jones closer to a 2-2 back down after taking last month's highs. So a little bit of weakness in there, and then IDBM 2 down on the week. So it's going to be the weakest one, still very much an inside month, so they're stuck in there. That being said, we will see gold double inside week. GDX 1-3 shooter week, so that's a scenario 3 on the weekly. That's broadening formation. Either we stay out or we reclaim and start coming back through it. We want to know about that. And then gold, obviously the double inside, so same idea except that's an inside equilibrium. GDXJ, you're going to see the shooter after taking out weekly magnitude, closer to a 2-2 reversal back down. And obviously materials in the small cap IDBM space, they got killed last week. You'll see transports, industrials, defense, financials, regional banks all reversed last week, as well as the XLP, the OIH, and XLE, which we were all over on the nightly vids. So that was some really good stuff in there. You will see tech obviously strongest, going to the highs with communications in here, and consumer discretionary into the holiday season. So we'll see if that trend continues. That being said, pretty much, the gold and that stuff, that's where your signals are going to be. And then we will have retail, we will have staples, and then maybe a Dow Jones 2-2, but it will be conflicted with the other Qs and SPY indexes. So we'll see what comes of that. But that being said, we'll keep a focus, retail, staples, the gold, and the miners, see what we have setting up in there into the new week. In the staples with the inside week, you're going to see that is occurring at the top of a broadening formation as we went outside last month. So if it does break inside down, we'd reclaim this 3, and that could cause some issues, right? And we see closer to the 2-2. What that tells us to be looking at is in here, Coke, Hershey's, Mondelez. So you'll see Coke closer to a RevStrat day back down, which would reconfirm a 2-2 week of last week. You can see on like a 2-week chart, there's momentum back through what? Back through that big monthly try, all right, in here. This is actually something we talked about at the end of 2023, and you see bang, and then coming back through potentially. So we want to know about that. If we go to Hershey's has already taken last quarter's lows. You'll see the triangle layout in here, poking up, shooter on the week. We also have the inside day to break that. That's something I want to know about for sure, as it's on the macro vid as well. Mondelez. This one, you're not going to have any actionable signals here, but 3-2 reversal quarter and bright red. So could get a lot redder, and you'll see the triangles in here. We're reclaiming all this stuff. So we got pivot targets to come and take these guys out. And then maybe, it'd reclaim this 3, and that could turn into more problems, right, if we start coming back through this range. So we will keep an eye on it. And then we got some outside weeks, monster. So we'll see if we get outside of that, up or down, ideally, right, and be closer to a 2-2 month. We'll see. If we go to CHD, you see maybe a little closer to that 2-2 month back down, and also the 3 on the week. And if it goes 3-2, you'd start reclaiming all these guys, looking to target the other side of that range. If we blow it up, you're going to see the much bigger broadening formation playing out in here. So, maybe we try and catch the top in there. We don't have to, but that's what we're seeing. Outside of that, there's a lot more like smaller stuff in there, which we can quickly take a look at. A lot of stuff's going to look similar to this. You can see Clorox didn't really do much because we had that inside week last week. There was Dollar Tree and Dollar General, which had some earnings movement going on. So that's just on the earnings list. You can see Dollar Tree with the shooter week. And that would pivot machine gun, reclaim, all this stuff. Trying to go 3-3 month, which is something we look for. We go Dollar General. You see just slight poke up above last month's highs. And then shooter, counter, hammer 322 day on a Monday, and be trying to come back through all these guys. So we'll see what comes of that. Obviously staples, they're just closer to the day into the week down. But that being said, let's go take a look at the rest here. So just given the fact that when we look at the gold stuff, it's kind of a chop shop. Obviously we have the inside bars, so we'll see what comes of it. But that being said, you know, it's closer to last month's lows. So when we go through the miners, there's a lot of weekly setups in here. You'll see AEM, a slight shooter, WPM, you see the slight rev strat shooter in there. GFI, it's already going down. FNV, you see the inside, maybe a brief PMG. Just a lot of these things not very close to taking last month's lows. So, you know, we'll see. I like personally just watching the ETFs themselves, GDXJ, JNUG, Nugget, that type of stuff where they're leveraged. Just makes it easier. But that being said, you can go through that yourself if you'd like to. I'm just going to not waste the time, and we'll let them open, see if they do start moving. Then maybe on the Monday night vid, we can talk about that. But that being said, the only other sector besides that would be your retail stuff. So XRT does start off. You can see inside week. We are up into the slight higher highs in here. So you have broad information looking something about along the lines of that. And you see it started in here, got bigger, bigger, bigger. And most of this came off the daily PMG in here a couple weeks ago. But you can see they've been chopping them up. So how are we going to get outside of that mother bar is our question. And let's go and take a look at the holdings. All right. I'm going to move this over here. But in the XRT, we're going to see some 222s. So we already talked about the inside week in there. You know, up or down, we'll see. But if we go to WRBY, closer to the 222 back up. We go to the year, it's a 2-2 year coming back through these guys, and the quarter, inside quarter it up. Obviously no nearby pivot targets, but it's green, so we'll see if that gets greener. RVLV, you're gonna see a 3-2 quarter, boom, right? You go to yearly, that's a 2-2 back up, and a hammer counter shooter for the 222 week above this stuff. GameStop, obviously, you know, it's a crowd favorite in here. It'll be 3-1 day. Closer to the 222 week. You're not gonna have much pivot targets, and this thing's definitely stuck on the quarter. So, you know, maybe you can get the pop into there, and then, you know, we'll see. On the quarter, it is 3-1-2 up, but this is what we call mother bar problems. So if it starts coming back in, definitely not a buy. Then SFM, we'll see an inside week. It's obviously been on a tear, so either side of that will get us some attention. And then BBWI. On the downside, shooter counters hammer below 36.48, and that would negate the month after, you know, poking up in there, and you'll see still inside quarter, so still not strong enough to take last quarter's highs. No daily signals or anything there. That being said, not too much else to talk about. There is some bigger movers in there, like Carvana could turn into a 222, but nowhere near it. Visco, you're gonna see really like the earnings. That one's been on a tear. Still going back through a previous range in here. So as far as relative strength is concerned, Visco's going to be one of the stronger ones in there. And that's, you know, about all I've got for you. There's going to be things like the Outfitters, AEO, which you can see had some earnings. So we'll see what comes of that gap. ANF, Abercrombie and Fitch. You're going to see a bit of a shooter week back into a 3. Potential rev strap month. So that's probably going to be one of the better lookers in there. And I'm going to add that to my list over here off my screen. But that being said, there's not too much else to take a look at. As far as what's already going, it's really just Tech Rally, which is obviously the XLKs. Maybe a rev strat on Monday for some profit taking, but nowhere near change of that month. They are all-time highs. And that's going to be a lot more of your larger cappers from the strat attack, right? We talked about Meta. Oops. So you see Meta, this was on the strat attack, and it would have been on the Monday night vid. I just did not get it out last week, but strat attack, and they close out at the highs. If we go to NVIDIA, not so much. Or if we go to Google, little bit better in there, closer to reconfirming that week with the day. Microsoft off our inside day list, not too shabby, right? Closes up about 11 points. Is still back through previous range in there, just going into, you can see some short-term exhaustion. So if they were to bring them in next week, it'd look like 2-2 day back down in the tech, but they're just nowhere near reversing those weekly guys. So we'll see, but probably going to start as a 1. If we go to Apple, you see similarly, and there's gun into the highs, bright green on the month to start. It is a 3-2, so it's got to stay up there. And if we go Netflix, the inside week last week, similarly, just with the tech. If we go Adobe, similarly, right, off of our 322 nightly vid, you see closes up about 40 points. GoDaddy, you see off our nightly vid here, closes up about 7 points on the week, but pretty nice move, about 10 points there. If we go to CrowdStrike, see off the nightly vid as well, closes up, could turn into RevStrap back down, but closer to the 222 week. So I actually want to make sure we get that in there. If we go to CRM, you see some outside stuff. So just a lot of tech, right? And we're still keeping an eye on that. It's our favorite sector to be trading. When we go to the semis, they did trade up, weren't as fortunate, the past week. Still an inside month, chopping them up, still an inside quarter. So we're going to let them do their thing day by day. We'll see what the semis are doing. But what we will see is there was some weakness in there. Some LRCX, which comes back in, goes inside day. AMAT, you see, comes back in, goes inside day. And this just means they're going to start inside week. We might have some 222s back down. So like an AMAT here, shooter counters hammer in this stuff. And these are weaker. As you can see, AMAT 3-2 quarter down. It's just not outside of that. So they're not hitting the bid and stepping up here. We'll see. We're going to keep an eye on that. But that's going to be more about Monday night. We'll talk about who's starting as 2 on the week. But that is about all I have got. And if you're here for the short and sweet, skipping to the end, this is what we've got in here. Staples, retail are going to have your signals. And we will have gold, GDX, and GDXJ, JNUG, Nugget, weeklies, signals just potentially stuck. So we're gonna let those open, see what they got for us. But that is about all I've got. And before I forget, obviously, energies are on a puke, so that's something we were trading all last week. You see the inside day here on the nightly vid, the inside day here Thursday night puke, confirming our nightly vid. So we'll see what comes of those, and hopefully you guys are able to play that. But that being said, that's all I've got for you. And again, to remind you, go and check out the comments below. Let me know your ideas about the scan site and what you'd like to see, and the sky's the limit. So be as crazy as you'd like. But I will see you guys Monday night in the nightly vid. Hope you guys had a good weekend, and adios.